Today's topic is urea cycle and its disorders. Right. This is urea cycle. So, what is the purpose of forming urea? So, why? Because in our body, so ammonia molecules will be produced by different reactions such as transamination reaction and deamination reaction. Yesterday we have learned about it. And in ammonia will be formed in many reactions, and this ammonia will be very toxic to the body. So body is immediately trying to convert this toxic substance to urea, and it is trying to excrete this urea. Okay, so this urea will be excreted. Finally, it is reaching to the kidney. Okay, actually the urea will be produced in the liver, but it is sending to the kidney, and finally the urea will be excreted through the kidney, right? In this cycle, so we are forming urea. So here this is the structure of urea, so which consists of two amine groups and one keto group, right? So in which two amine groups will be coming from two different sources. So one amine group is coming from ammonia, so which is liberated from the reactions of transamination and deamination reactions. And the second ammonia, so which is coming from the aspartate. So this is the compound aspartate, so which consists of ammonia, and aspartate is carrying this ammonia, and this ammonia will be added to here finally. And C double bond O keto group, so which will be obtaining from carbon dioxide, right? In our body carbon dioxide will be there, and it will be adding with water and forming HCO3 minus ions, okay, bicarbonate ions. And these bicarbonate ions are condensed with ammonia, so which is already liberated in our body, and forming carbamoyl phosphate. So this is the starting step. So here ammonia molecules will be condensed with bicarbonate molecules and forming carbamoyl phosphate. So here two ATP molecules will be utilized for this condensation process, and here the enzyme involved here is carbamoyl phosphate synthetase 1, that is called CPS1, and this is a rate limiting reaction. So this is main important reaction. This is the key reaction, okay, so which controls the formation of urea. Okay, but in which carbamoyl phosphate synthetase 1, CPS1, so which is an enzyme, so which will be activated by n acetyl glutamate. Write down n acetyl glutamate, okay, by allosteric activation. So that means, so CPS1 is not itself getting activated, it needs one substance to get activated. So that's why N-acetyl glutamate will be activating this CPS1. So actually CPS1 is available in the form of inactivated form. It gets activated by allosteric substances, that is N-acetyl glutamate, right? Okay, so that's why phosphate synthetase 1, so which is called to be allosteric enzyme. So this is the key enzyme, regulatory enzyme, which regulates the formation of urea, right? So what is happening here? Here, ammonium molecules which are produced from transamination reaction and deamination reaction. So these ammonium molecules will be condensed with bicarbonate ions, so which are present in the mitochondrial place. Actually, urea cycle will be occurred in two places. So total five enzymes are involved in this urea cycle, in which two enzymes are present in mitochondrial place, and remaining three enzymes are present in cytosol. Okay, so this first reaction is occurred in mitochondrial matrix. Okay, why? Because carbamoyl phosphate synthetase 1, which is present in mitochondrial matrix. The first reaction is called to be condensation reaction. So in this way here, so ammonium will be utilized. So it is the body is trying to eliminate this ammonium, okay, so which is formed by transamination and deamination reactions, and it is finally converting into urea. by the urea cycle. Okay, so ammonium is very important compound in plants, but in humans, so ammonium itself, it's very toxic substance. So that's why body is having a special regulating mechanism, that is urea cycle, so by which so body will be removing this ammonium, so which is present in our body. Okay, so 85 to 90% of nitrogen is available in the form of ammonium in the body, so that will be eliminated by urea cycle. Okay, so ammonium is consisting of nitrogen, but nitrogen, so which is present in the form of amino acids, proteins, and nucleic acids, then it is good. But ammonium is there in the cells, so it will be causing some problems. Why? Because ammonium is very uh, dangerous compound for the brain. So brain is very sensitive for ammonium. Okay, so that's why body is always trying to remove this ammonium from our body by this urea cycle. Okay, so what is the end product in urea cycle? Urea is the end product of urea cycle, right? So in this urea cycle, so we have two amine groups. So one amine group is coming from the ammonium compounds, so which are liberated in our body, and the second ammonium group will be obtained from the aspartate, and carbon is coming from the carbon dioxide. Okay, okay, so this is the first reaction, and next second reaction. In the second reaction, so ornithine, so which is formed, which is generated in the cytosol, will be transported into the mitochondrial place. Okay, which is entering into the mitochondrial matrix. Okay, so that's why here this ornithine is transported to carbamoyl phosphate. So that's why the product will be ornithine trans, sorry, citrulline is the product. Here the enzyme involved is ornithine transcarbamylase. So what is happening here? Simply transferring of ornithine from the cytosol to mitochondrial matrix, and which is combining with carbamyl phosphate and forming citrulline. So here ornithine and citrulline, so both are permeable to the mitochondrial membrane. So that's why ornithine, which is generated in the cytosol, will be easily permeable, and it is getting inside the mitochondrial matrix. In the same way, here citrulline is formed in the mitochondrial matrix, so which is permeable to the membrane. So that's why it can be easily coming out from the mitochondrial matrix to cytosol, right? So finally, so here we are forming citrulline. So citrulline will be formed here. So what is happening here? So here, so this compound, carbamoyl phosphate, which is having amine group and keto group, will be separated from this phosphate molecule. Okay, so phosphate molecule will be separated, and keto along with amine group will be separated, and this keto and amine group will be attaching with ornithine at this position. This is the position, so where it will be attached, right? So here it will be attached at this position, C double bond O and NH2. So here, so it will be coming from the carbamoyl phosphate, and this is the ornithine compound, right? So ornithine, this is the ornithine compound. So what is happening here? So simply here ornithine will be transferred to carbamoyl phosphate and forming citrulline. Okay, next in the next reaction, this is the third reaction, so in which aspartate will be added to the citrulline. So this is also a condensation reaction. So condensation is taking place between citrulline and aspartate. So what is the importance of aspartate? Aspartate is providing the second amino group, so which is very essential for the urea formation. So here urea is having two amine groups, and the second amine group will be coming from the aspartate. Okay, so what is the type of the reaction? This is a condensation reaction. Here the citrulline will be condensed with aspartate. So catalyzed by this reaction is catalyzed by organosuccinate synthetase. So why? Because so what is the final product after condensation of citrulline and aspartate? So we are forming organosuccinate. So what we are synthesizing? Organosuccinate. So that's why the enzyme will be organosuccinate synthetase, right? So for formation of organosuccinate, so it takes one ATP molecule. So this is the third ATP molecule, so which will be utilized in the urea cycle. So two ATP molecules will be utilized in the first reaction for the condensation of bicarbonate ions with ammonium. So here two ATP molecules are involved, and the third ATP molecule so will be utilized here in the third reaction. So which is also useful for condensation of citrulline with aspartate and forming arginosuccinate, right? In the next reaction, so here this arginosuccinate get cleavaged. So this is the position where it gets cleavaged, and this compound will be separated. This is called fumarate. So fumarate will be separated from arginosuccinate. Here the bond will be broken at this position. So why? Because what is the purpose of adding aspartate? Aspartate is added for providing the secondary second amino acid, right? So here second amino acid is added. So that's why, so remaining portion, remaining carbon chain will be removed, and it will be separated by the form of fumarate. Okay, so this is also a cleavage reaction. Here cleavage will be taken place here in between these two NH and CH bonds, right? So that's why fumarate will be separated from the arginosuccinate and forming arginine, right? See here we can see, so there is no fumarate here. Fumarate has been separated, and here it is forming C double bond HN, right? So this is called arginine, right? In the final step, so what is happening here? So in the final step, water molecule is added. So this is hydroxylation reaction. So when water molecule is added, okay, so here uh, this position, right? So this position, the bond will be broken, and ammonium, sorry, urea will be separated. So urea will be separated, and the remaining portion is called to be ornithine, right? So this is also a cleavage reaction. So cleavage will be occurred in the presence of water. Okay, so by the hydroxylation, so when the water is added, here the bond will be broken, and urea will be separated, right? Urea will be separated, and remaining portion is called to be ornithine, right? So here ornithine is regenerated in the cytosol, so that will be transported, okay, and it will be combined with carbamoyl phosphate, and again it is forming citrullin. Citrullin is also again, it is coming out to the out of mitochondrial matrix, and finally it is reaching to the cytosol, and again the cycle will be proceeded, right? So this is a urea cycle, so in which urea is the final product or end product. Okay, so this urea cycle, which has been described by two scientists named Krebs and Henseleit. Okay, so that's why urea cycle is also called to be Krebs Henseleit cycle. Urea cycle is also called to be Krebs Henseleit cycle. So it will be occurred here. The urea will be produced in the liver, but it gets excreted, and it will be sent to the kidney, and finally it gets excreted in the form of urine, right? So this is about urea cycle. So next one is urea cycle disorders. Okay, so there are five important urea cycle disorders: hyperammonemia type 1, hyperammonemia type 2, citrullinemia, arginosuccinate aciduria, aciduria, and hyperarginemia. Right? So these are the main important urea cycle disorders. Okay, right. So how can we get these disorders? So due to deficiency of few important urea cycle enzymes. Deficiency of few important urea cycle enzymes. Okay, so due to deficiency of these enzymes, for example CPS1, so if the urea cycle deficient of this enzyme, then we can get hyperammonemia type 1 disorder, right? So in most of the times ammonium levels will be increased due to deficiency of these urea cycle enzymes. Okay, so ammonium levels will be increased in the blood, so that ammonium will be accumulated. So more ammonium will be accumulated in the blood, and sometimes this ammonium will be carried to the different peripheral tissues, brain, and brain is very sensitive to the ammonia, and brain gets damaged. Okay, so that's why, so this is a severe condition. Okay, so accumulation of ammonia is very severe, so we have to prevent it, we have to treat it, right? So this accumulation of ammonia is mainly done by, so five important enzymes, right? And we can treat this ammonium disorders by taking low protein diet. So what is the use of low protein diet? So when we take low protein diet, so low proteins will be enter into our body, and proteins get metabolized and forming low number of amino acids, and low number of amino acids will be releasing low amount of ammonium. So accumulation of ammonium will be controlled or prevented, right? So that's why we need to take low amount of protein diet. Okay, and one more important point is we need to take a frequent small feeds. So we should not take large quantity, so we have to take frequent small feeds. Okay, so for every 1 hour we have to take feed. Okay, so frequent small feeds are very much important for treating this urea cycle disorders, right? So if you take a medication, so we can use hippuric acid. Write down hippuric acid. So which is useful for treating uric acid disorders. Sorry, urea cycle disorders. Hippuric acid. Okay, and nowadays gene therapy is also using, but it is in experimental stage. It is not completed, so it is in experimental stage. Okay, so gene therapy is also very much helpful, right? So why? Because here many of the enzymes, so which are involved in urea cycle, are due to gene defects, right? Due to gene defects. So that's why, so gene therapy is also useful, but it is at an in experimental stage. Okay, okay, so coming to first disease, that is hyperammonemia, so which is mainly due to CPS1, that is carbamoyl phosphate synthetase 1 enzyme. So deficiency of this enzyme leads to hyperammonemia type 1. So this is a rare disease. So out of 1 lakh patients, so one patient can get this disease. This is very rare disease, but very severe disease. So in this disease, here ammonium will be accumulated in the blood and CSF. Okay, so that's why. So when there is more ammonium levels in cerebrospinal fluid, so here what happened? The mental retardation will be occurred. So it is a severe problem, right? So this is mainly due to deficiency of CPS1. Okay, and what is the reason for this disease? Here enzyme is deficient, CPS will be CPS1 will be deficient here. So it is mainly due to autosomal recessive. So this is an inheritatory disease. That means it is coming from the forefathers, right? So due to gene defect, so here we can get this hyperammonemia type 1 disease, right? So next disease is called to be hyperammonemia type 2. So it is mainly caused due to deficiency of OTC. What is OTC? Ornithine transcarbamylase enzyme. Ornithine transcarbamylase enzyme. This is the second enzyme in urea cycle. Okay. So due to this deficiency, here we can get hyperammonemia type 2 disease. So here in this disease, so more amount of ammonium will be accumulated in the blood, as well as more amount of glutamine levels also will be accumulated. So as we have already seen in the yesterday's class, glutamine will be deaminated, okay, and amine group will be released, ammonium will be released, and that will be finally entering into the urea cycle. Okay, so most of the time, so glutamine is present in our body. So 50% of amino acid pool which is consisting of glutamine, right? So why? Because glutamine is very important, very essential amino acid in our body. Okay, so here, so due to deficiency of this enzyme, so glutamine levels also will be increased in the cerebrospinal fluid. Write down: CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, blood, and urine. Okay, so you can test this OTC by urine test or blood test or cerebrospinal fluid test. Okay. Right. So this is also X-linked disease. So this is also a gene linked disease, genetic disorder only, right? And the next one is citrullinemia, citrullinemia. So which is mainly due to deficiency of arginosuccinate synthetase. So this is the third enzyme which is used in urea cycle. Okay. So deficiency of this enzyme, so which leads to citrullinemia, right? So here in this case, so more amount of ammonia will be accumulated, as well as more an amount of citrulline levels will be increased, right, in the blood. Okay, so this is also an autosomal recessive disease. Citrullinemia is also autosomal recessive disease. And we can also get one more disease, that is citrullinuria. Write down: citrullinuria. So that means more amount of citrulline, so which will be excreted by the form of urine. Okay, so that means in the urine we can get more amount of citrulline levels. Okay, so that condition is called to be citrullinuria. And the next one is arginosuccinate aciduria. Okay, so this disease is mainly due to deficiency of arginosuccinate lyases. Okay, so when more arginosuccinate levels are increased in the blood and urine, okay, so then this is the condition where we can get more amount of arginosuccinate which is present in the blood and urine, and which leads to metabolic acidosis. Metabolic acidosis. Write down: metabolic acidosis. Okay, so why? Because arginine is more acid nature. Okay, so that's why, so more amount of arginosuccinate, which leads to metabolic acidosis. So acidic nature will be increased, so that's why this is called arginosuccinic aciduria. Okay, right. So next one is arginase, the deficiency of arginase, which leads to hyperarginemia. Hyperarginemia, so hyper means high, so here more amount of arginine which is present in the blood and CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so if you test blood, so we can get more amount of arginine levels which are present in the blood. Okay, but this condition generally appeared in 2 to 4 years of age. Okay, for kids we can see, in the kids we can see this disease. Okay, so adults we cannot see this disease, it is mainly occurred in children or infants, right? So this is about urea cycle disorders. So these urea cycle disorders can be prevented by taking low protein diet and frequent small feeds. Okay, and we can take medication also. Hippuric acid is a medication to treat urea cycle disorders, and gene therapy will be in the experimental stage. So how can we know that we are having urea cycle disorders? There are few important symptoms. Okay, vomiting, write down vomiting, irritability, irritability, and mental retardation. Mental retardation. So these are the main important symptoms of urea cycle disorders. Okay, normally in our blood, so less than 40 milligram per deciliter, so that is the concentration of ammonia. Okay, but when we are having this urea cycle disorder, so we'll be having 60 to 100 milligram per deciliter, that is more than 40 milligram per deciliter that we can see in our blood and CSF. So that leads to brain damage. Okay, and sometimes it is called to be encephalopathy. Write down encephalopathy, right? So that means brain diseases will come, mental retardation and memory loss, seizures. So these are all symptoms will be coming with this encephalopathy. Why? Because brain gets damaged due to high accumulation of ammonium levels. And also when ammonium levels are increased in blood and CSF, so ammonium is generally having basic nature. So due to increasing the basic nature, there will be one more disease will be coming, that is called respiratory alkalosis. Write down respiratory alkalosis. Okay. So here hyperammonemia, encephalopathy, and respiratory alkalosis. These are the common diseases. So which are caused mainly due to deficiency of urea cycle enzymes. Right. So this is about urea cycle and its disorders. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So what is the end product of urea cycle?
Urea.
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 What is the rate limiting reaction in urea cycle?
Condensation reaction
Condensation reaction.
where the ammonia and bicarbonates reacts.
Right. So what is CPS1? CPS1.
Carboamyl phosphate synthetase 1.
Right. So what is the significance of arginine?
Arginate will give the second ammonia group to the urea.
No, no, aspartate. Aspartate is giving second ammonia to the urea, right? Significance of arginine is which is an immediate precursor for urea. Okay, so what is the location of urea cycle?
Mitochondria and cytosol.
Right. So how many enzymes are available for urea cycle in mitochondria?
Two.
Two enzymes.
Sir, in urea cycle, all are condensation reactions, sir. Or
N- No, no, no. So first reaction is condensation reaction, and third reaction is also condensation reaction, and fourth and fifth reactions are cleavage reactions. First reaction, so here carbomoyl phosphate synthetase is involved. No, that reaction is called condensation reaction, where carbon dioxide is condensed with ammonium. The third reaction, citrullin is condensed with aspartate. So this is also condensation reaction. And fourth reaction is called cleavage reaction. Here arginosuccinate gets cleaved and releasing fumarate and arginine. And the fifth reaction is also cleavage reaction. So arginine gets cleaved and releasing urea and ornithine. Right?
sir, second reaction, sir.
Second reaction is transferring reaction, transferring of ornithine from cytosol to carbomoyl phosphate. Okay, so this is transferring reaction. There is no type of reaction, just ornithine will be transferred.
Sir,
Yes.
here you said only the use of CPS1. What is the use of CPS2 enzyme, sir?
So CPS1 will be utilized here, but CPS2 will be utilized in another process like pyrimidine synthesis. right? So that will be, we will be discussing about this in future. Okay, and here we
Yes.
are only using CPS1, so which is an allosteric enzyme, so which will be regulated by N-acetyl glutamate. So if N-acetyl glutamate is not available in our body, so that means we can get only inactivated form of carbonyl phosphate synthase 1. So when it is inactivated, there is no condensation is occurred in between carbon dioxide and ammonia, and we cannot form carbonyl phosphate. So that is the first reaction will be inhibited or prevented. So that's why carbonyl phosphate synthetase is a rate limiting enzyme which controls the formation rate of urea formation.